Hey, it's Mazzy. This is It's the Music Stupid. This is a little different because this is a little bit of a Mazzy rambles, and this is an opinion piece. So remember, this is my opinion, one man's opinion, Mazzy's opinion. Yes, sometimes I talk about myself in the third person because it's entertaining for some, except for that guy. And people hate when I point at them. Then don't sit so close to your screen, okay? Um, It is the music. It's about the music. But I'm a record buyer. I'm a record collector. I have a massive collection. I like to do different cover art pieces, different pressings on the artist I like, and I dive into it. But I want to talk about this because there seem to be a handful of butthurt people. It kind of started, maybe is not where it started, but several years ago during the whole mobile fidelity thing. So I'm going to get into that a little bit because when I talk about this kind of stuff, whether it's here or on the forums, I get accused as, oh, Mazzy, you're a shill. You're a mobile fidelity apologist. Well, if that's what you want to call me, so be it. Your opinion is relevant as well. But if I like the sound of a record, I like the look of the cover, I'm going to enjoy it. If I was going to get upset about bullshit in the record and music industry, there'd be a lot more shit. You know, you think that not everyone is transparent. Oh my God, this is a numbered limited edition. Yet it's not a numbered limited edition because they press more. People's butts are hurting right now for several reasons. Whether it's Mobile Fidelity, whether it's Rhino Records, whether it's add to the list any other company. There's always something that kind of happens that tweaks people off. Now, some of the things are totally legitimate. Bad packaging, damaged box sets, damaged covers, bad shipping, split seams. I understand that. And there are companies that have really done a shitty in customer service and follow-up. And to me, in any business, having owned my own business for 38 years, the photo representation where I represented commercial artists, although they had parallel times, parallel careers in the fine art world, I understand about editions, about limited editions. And I've said it on my channel here, I've said it on the forums, and there's just butthurt people, or people, I shouldn't say that. How rude am I? How rude am I? People that don't understand what an edition is. So let's talk about this. I'm going to go back to one of the photographers I represented. And the thing is, since this is a music-centric channel, even though I do some excursions into fine art photography, commercial photography, rock photography, I want to talk about this beautiful album cover and album. This is a 1988 album called Angel Street by the drummer Tony Williams. Tony Williams returned to Blue Note Records in 1985 until about 93, I believe, when he soon died after. And photographer I represented, Michelle Clement, did all those record covers from 1985 through 93. Angel Street, Native Heart, the Live in Tokyo album, Civilization, some beautiful covers. And I got to know Tony a little bit during this period when I was representing Michelle, and would see Tony play in the Bay Area and in New York at the Village Vanguard, and was at some of the photo sessions, not any of the recording sessions, but he would give Michelle the title and a tape of the album or a CD preview, whatever it was then in those days. Remember, this is the CD era, so vinyl are few and far between, although I think you can find these cheap if they're still around. But look at this beautiful cover. This is a period of time, pre-digital, pre-Photoshop, when Michelle would use, it's called Polaroid's Type 55 4x5 film, and sandwich it together, two different negatives. The back of the Polaroid would become the negative. She'd print these in the darkroom, mostly herself, and then with a printer. Now, they did do a limited series of prints, several editions. In those days, they were fiber-based prints. They were silver gelatin prints, not digital prints. That's mostly done now. You can still go in the darkroom and do a silver gelatin, but they tend to be few and far between. But this beautiful, the nude and the flowers here are the chrysanthemums. But what a beautiful cover. So she did a series of prints, different size prints, and this is one of them. Okay, this is a, what is this? 20 by 24. This is framed. Sorry, there's glare there. This is an edition of one, but she did several of this size. I happen to have this one, and this is a silver gelatin print, not a digital print. So this is about a $3,000 print now. If you want one of these, I think we have some available for about $3,000 signed by the artist, but they'll never be printed again. Now, when I say never, who knows? Maybe her estate down the line, her son, her state, will get the negatives and do an edition down the line. But this is basically a vintage print, which means this was printed in 1989. You can't really see there, but it's stamped on the back. 1989 by the artist in her darkroom. So this is worth, I mean, $3,000 actually is very reasonable for a 20 by 24 print. I think she has some of these. So if you want, you can get to me. I think she has also some 11 by 14s, which are probably about $1,200, give or take. But I'm not here to sell things. My point is that is an edition. You could have a numbered edition of, say, 25 prints, 11 by 14, printed in 1988, 1989, just after the album came out. And that would sell out. 6 months later, a year later, 5 years later, you can do a 16 by 20 edition. There could be 100 numbered editions. There could be an unnumbered edition. There could be a signed edition. There could be an unsigned edition. Here's another one. This is a calla lily, another one of the Type 55 that Michelle Clement took. This is basically edition 1, image 1. And this doesn't have a numbered. So this is an unnumbered edition. Basically, it's an open edition, I should say, which means there might be 100 of these, there might be 1,000 of these, there might be 5 of these. But I think she has probably about 25 of these prints, unmounted, unmatted. These go over about $1,000, give or take, now. She is a known in her world. She's not a Cindy Sherman or a vintage print of Jim Marshall's Rock Shots or other artists, but she's known. In this case, this was done from this series. This is also for Blue Note. This is an album, the music of Sting, but the Bob Belden Ensemble performs the music of Sting. Now, this is an outtake, a different version, but you can see the calla lilies there. So this is a time where it kind of matches up, and some people, jazz collectors, fine art collectors, might like that. This was negative made 1991, print made 1994. So that's an example of editions. So let's talk about, I'm going to talk the number editions first, then I'm going to talk about butthurt people from records. This was just announced as of this recording today that the mobile high fidelity Black Sabbath is being issued again, is available again now in an unnumbered edition. All the power. To me, records should be in print as long as they can. Back in obviously the vinyl heyday, records stayed in print until they stiffed or they were pulled out or a label was sold or an artist signed, depending on the contract. It's different today because you should just know that every vinyl record that you see out there is probably limited. Now, again, a major album by the Eagles or the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or Taylor Swift, but even Taylor Swift, they're limited. And then they do variations, the color variations. Some are numbered, some are signed, some are this, some are that, different cover variants. This was limited, and the hype sticker said, I don't have it, oh, I do have it here. The hype sticker says, limited number edition of 5,000 copies, a limited number edition. So if you speak English, if English is your first language, do you know what that means? It means limited numbered edition of 5,000. So the numbers on the back here, this is a promo copy. I did get a promo copy. Some people call me a shill for that. I got a promo copy, which is 0000. I would have bought this one anyway. And I like this one, but that's not what this video is about. So this was not limited in terms of how many copies you could buy. Some people bought 1 copy, some people bought 10 copies. Now, I have no sympathy whatsoever for flippers. You buy a record because you like the music. you collect it, you like the label, you buy a series of UHQRs, you buy a series of Mobile Fidelity, you buy a series of whatever it is. That's your choice. That's your choice. But this is a numbered edition that is limited to 5,000. It doesn't say they can't do future editions. Maybe they do a blue vinyl edition. Maybe they do a reddish vinyl edition like this. What they're doing now is an unnumbered edition. So basically, it's an open edition. Now, we don't know if they pressed another 1,000 copies, another 2,000 copies, or another 5,000 copies. But I think it's great that more people are able to buy this for $40. And I'm not just picking on or I am pointing out to Rhino in this case, because this is where people's are getting butthurt in the forums and on the Facebook groups. And I have no sympathy for that because they don't understand the concept of editions. Edition is that specific edition. You know, if they said we're only printing 5,000, pressing 5,000 copies, then we're erasing the tapes, we're demagnetizing that forever, we'll never press this again in your entire life in the history of the planet Earth, that might be different. But they're not saying that. Sometimes, you know, there were artists, photographers, they basically destroy the negative after, and they only want a certain edition, say 100 prints, and they destroy the negative. That breaks my heart to destroy a negative. Of course, these days you can scan the print and you can make a new negative or a new digital print, or what they call glacé. Glacé is basically a fancy French term for a digital print, basically, on an inkjet printer or a, wonderful paper, anyway, things like that. So the whole thing, this goes back to this. Okay, I talked about this. This was limited. It sold out. Now, more than half of the Rhino high fidelity records have not sold out. They just sold out of the ZZ Top box. Now, that might be more complicated to print because they have to do a box set and it's more complicated, more expensive. So I have no idea. But people change their mind. They realize, oh my God, this sells out. There's a demand for it. We're going to press more. Record companies, if you don't understand this, record companies are in the business to sell as many records, downloads, streams for the artists they represent as possible. That is literally what the music business is about. Now, you talk about transparency again. They told us it was only going to be 5,000 numbered copies. I bought it like that. I wouldn't have bought it right away. Well, there is a bit of that FOMO thing. And it's kind of like Record Store Day. People say, why don't you put this out on Record Store Day? Because it should be available in the stores all year round. Yeah, in theory, in 1975, 1980, sure. The truth is, if there's a record that comes out, whether it's Rhino, whether it's MoFi, whether it's UHQR, and it's unnumbered or basically quoted as a limited edition, and a lot of times, like I mentioned, this new David Sylvian best of comp that's coming out, 3 LPs, limited edition, says no idea how much. He's not a major artist in the grand scheme of things, but he's got a big, close-knit fan base, and that'll sell. We don't know if they press 3,000 or 10,000. We just don't know. And that's good. I'm sure if they see it's selling a lot, maybe they'll press more. And so it's not numbered. Now, you may say, okay, it's disingenuous when you put a number on it. It makes me buy it right away. Well, of course it does, because this will be sitting in a record store or on a website for 3 years, and you put it off because there's always something else. So it does get you off your ass to buy it now. That's the nature of it. It gets you excited to buy it now. Is that wrong? I don't think so. Don't buy it. Pass it up. You may miss it, but there's always something else. There always will probably be another edition, or seek out, instead of paying overpriced flipper, buy an original. It won't sound exactly the same. It might sound better depending on the title. So I have no sympathy for that. And I understand the business and the edition scenario. But I think people don't understand it, and they don't feel these record companies are being transparent about it. And I just think people are getting too worked up about shit that doesn't matter. Buy it because you like the music. And if you bought a numbered copy and you rushed out and paid $40 for it, all the power to you. Someone already paid $150 for it, so they're the ones that got fucked, not you. And if someone bought 10 copies and flipped it, now people can buy it for $40, and that person can't sell it for 150 or 100 or even 75. Neener, 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 too bad for you, okay? Let's talk about mobile fidelity, because that is something now. I just realized that starting, I think the August 15th is the cutoff date where people had to send their, the people that opted in on the settlement offer to get either money back, they bought a mobile fidelity records, or get credit or whatever that's worth. I'm not one of those people. I did get the informational sheet, and I didn't fill it out, too complicated, but I like most of my mobile fidelity records, not all of them. Did they lie? Sure they did. They bent the truth, and a couple of specific videos we've seen and we read about lied. Okay, we lied. I like the record. Now, I like a lot of the mobile fidelity records I bought. Now, there's this. I think Miles Davis records are amongst the best, and to me, they surpass most of the originals. This is not good. Their version of Miles Davis Kinda Blue is not good. This is I believe, a double 45. Now remember, sometimes they did these double 45 of Miles and Dylan because that's all that Columbia would give them the rights to. The label retains the 33 for the most part. That's not an absolute. But this is not good at all. And I probably should sell it, and maybe at some point I will. Chad Kassem did this. This is the UHQR 33 and a third. To me, this is the best sounding. Now, I haven't heard the double 45. I'm sure it's marginally better. Some people think it's a lot better. I happen to be one that doesn't subscribe to It's Always Better if you match everything up. And I like the flow of a 33. But either way, this is great that Chad got the rights to do this, and Analog Productions got the rights to do this. This is fabulous. I don't need a 45 version of this record. Wonderful cover. Whatever you think about the box sets, if you like them up on your wall, like Encyclopedia Britannica, all the power to you. But it's a great sounding record, and it beats the ass off of mobile fidelity. Chad also did these. These are the best Doors albums in my collection, sounding-wise. The originals are great. The Monarch, the original mono of the first album is great. But these are double 45s, and they sound fantastic. Now, I've said this before, I'm not usually a fan of double 45s. So I have these just because I love these records, and I bought the first 5 records. There's these, and there's, LA Woman, and whatever the other ones are. Waiting for the Sun. They're really good. I wish these were 33 and a third, definitely. And I would get rid of these in an instant. I don't care how much marginally better they are. I like the flow of a 33 record. But obviously, at this point, Elektra Records, Warner Music would not license 33s to a third party. So this is what we got. I understand these will probably come out in other forums. Now, if Chad ever puts these out on a UHQR, is that against transparency? These are not numbered. These are not limited. But these have gone in and out of print for the last, so many years, however long these have been available. And if he does another 45, say a UHQR, it's just a different formula, a one-step or a single-step, whatever you want to call it, two-step toodaloo, whatever you want to call it, so be it. Some people like to have a wall full of UHQRs. Some people like to have a wall full of mobile fidelities. People who got butthurt of mobile fidelities decide, I'm never buying them again. I never want them again. They lied to me, and they're butthurt. Okay, you're butthurt. No problem. I think right now with their new plant, Fidelity pressing plant in California, apparently they're doing a lot more records coming out, a lot more represses. Now, I'm not an all-in on any label. I'm not an all-in mobile fidelity fan. But there are certain ones that are just spectacular. I'm really excited because every once in a while they get out of the box. They go out of the box. And they just announced, and I did pre-order, Lou Reed's Berlin, an album that really kind of bombed when it came out. Critics didn't like it. Fans didn't like it. And it's become this great cult. People think it's one of his best albums, Berlin. and Mo Fidelity's doing a 33 version of it. I'm excited. Yes, from DSD Steps. Now we know, so now you can make your decision if it sounds good. I think this is one of the best Mobile Fidelities ever, Procol Harum Salty Dog. I have an original. I do not have a UK copy, but this kicks ass, far exceeds this. I would never sell this. I would never get rid of it because I was butthurt by a record company lying. God, a record company lying. Really? You're upset of a record company lying? RCA Records, Grunt Records. This isn't quite Grunt yet, I guess, but this is Volunteers 1969, the last great studio Jefferson Airplane album, double 45 they did. Now, Airplane records aren't great sounding records, but it's great music. But this kicks ass, and especially one of my all-time favorite albums, of course, one of the great San Francisco Summer of Love albums is Surrealistic Pillow, okay? It always, drenched reverb, this obviously the original's 33, everything was 33 then. Recorded in LA, it's one a lot of the engineers there really didn't know how to record rock and roll, but it's great music. And for 50 plus years, this is fine. I mean, I like the sound, the reverb. It's not like this great thing, but who cares? The music is amazing. But I tell you, this double 45 record kind of improves all the problems with this. And I'm not always a fan of the new Shiny Beast record of it, but this is an incredible release. And yeah, I wish it was 33, but I'm sure Mobile Fidelity couldn't get the rights to press this as a 33. I wish they would do one. Maybe in their super vinyl. Again, I'm not an all audiophile guy. I dip my toe here when I like the music. I don't buy these just to line Mobile Fidelity records on my shelf. I don't keep all my MoFis in a row so you see those spines. I don't keep any label like that, except for Analog Africa. I don't keep my, a lot of people like to keep their Impulse records. They look kind of cool, but it's not for me. Of course, this is good. This is incredible. Truth. Great. They do great stuff. Now, on the other side of the coin, one of my favorite albums from 1967 is The Young Rascals Groovin', and the stereo one is the way to go. Mobile Fidelity got the rights, and I was so excited about this. Double 45, and this is the mono version. This is not good. This is not good. Why do I keep it? I don't know. It's not really worth selling. I paid for it. I wish they could have done the stereo version. My guess is Rhino, the Warner Brothers catalog wing, would not license this to them in 33. But every track on this is great. Rhino did do a version. I think they did a mono cut as well. I have that. It's okay. But this record, this is one of those records, 1967, that sounds so much better in stereo. So this is a fail. MoFi has failed. I said that Bitches Brew, not Bitches Brew, the Kinda Blue, excuse me. I like the Bitches Brew. But the Kinda Blue, I think they failed on, and I think they failed on this, but it could have been just the mono tapes. So that pretty much is it. Lastly, I'm going to close out with this. This is the second pressing of the big 45 RPM Bill Evans box. As far as I know, this wasn't limited. I don't remember if it was advertised as limited. This is the second pressing they did. They're up to the third pressing, which hasn't sold out. You can get it. I think it's now $900. Look, it's some damage there on the outer box, but it doesn't affect the records. I'm fine with it. I'm not that picky on an outer box. Really, the box to me is to protect it. I bought it through my friend Coffee Dave who had it, so I don't know. That looks like it was done, not in shipping, it looks like it was the way it was manufactured, but even if I got it that way, I would, you expect when you're spending $900 to get a perfect one, and I probably would request a new box, but that's not always the case. Double 45, we know Chad just did 2 UHQRs, Waltz of Debbie and the Village Vanguard, and I understand they're really good. I don't have them. I don't need them. These are double 45s, but I tell you what, I have the OJCs that just came out in the last year of those 2 records, and they give this a run for the money. And for me personally, because of my not massive lust for double 45s, I would get rid of this if there was an OJC all 33 and a third box set of these wonderful Bill Evans records. Because musically, this is incredible. Musically, it's fantastic. So I want to just, send my Mazzy's love to all the butthurt people who are upset and hurt. There are things in this world to really be upset about. To me, the record business is not one of them, and records is not one of them. If you respond in a nice way, eventually they should get back to you. If they don't, and you have shitty customer service, then to me, that's the number one thing. Not that all of a sudden they're doing another edition, unnumbered edition, because the numbered edition of 5,000 sold out and you bought 10 copies with it, or you bought even one copy. Butthurtness is a terrible thing, affliction. So I plead to you, don't be butthurt. Enjoy the music. It's the music, stupid. I'm not shilling for these companies. I could say this about a ton of other limited editions. Record comes out, you get it. It goes out of print, and then 3 years later or 5 years later, they press more copies. Think of first record store day releases, even some that are numbered, limited. All of a sudden, it came out on yellow vinyl, and now Jackpot Records puts out, what's that big psychedelic album that came out last time? In yellow, now it's black. Oh my God, call the police. They repress music for fans. Thanks for watching. Mazzy loves you.